It's a teen talk skating podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, 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 and welcome to episode number 69 of the Teen Talk Skating Podcast. My name is Vango, and I am very much suffering from stomach aches. I don't know what's been going on with my body. But I'm having so many stomach aches over the past 2, 3-ish days. And I don't know what's causing them. Like after I eat, I always get a stomach ache now. And I've always been kind of a fast eater. I used to be a slow eater, but then I turned into a fast eater. So I've been eating at the same speed, and before I didn't get stomach aches, now I have stomach aches. But apparently a stomach flu is going around my school, so maybe it's that. Literally I don't even know. Am I pregnant? WebMD, tell me now, am I pregnant? Is this pregnancy? I don't know whose baby this is, but it's not mine. Anyway, yeah, I've been suffering from the aches of the stomach. I hope you guys are not suffering from stomach aches. But anyway, I am, very much excited. It's almost the end of the school year. Next week, I will be done with school, thank God. And I will be able to focus a lot more on this podcast because recently I've been feeling kind of bad because I haven't been putting too much effort into this podcast, not gonna lie, because school's been taking up my time and I'm trying to keep my GPA kind of high so I can maybe get into a good college one of these days. But yeah, pretty stressed out, but focusing on the school. I am a little bit depressed because Eurovision is over. It was good, but Austria winning, okay, it was fine. But not my favorite song, but not the worst song. It's just fine. Anywho, yeah. Stomach aches, stress from school, the end of Eurovision. What else? Yeah, that's kind of it. I hope you guys are all doing well at school and work and everything. I hope that the summer coming soon is going to be your motivator to keep on pushing and enjoy that beautiful summer weather. I, however, do not like summer because it's too hot. So where I live anyway. So not my favorite. But if you love summer, I hope that motivates you to keep on doing well. Anyway, we should probably go to our program of the week before I start ranting for way too long. Program of the week. Okay, guys, so our program of the week, this is one of those programs that I did not like originally when I saw it. I thought it was a pretty basic program. I thought a lot more could have been done with it. But then it turned into one of those programs where I kind of revisit and I'm like, oh, it's actually beautiful, actually stunning. I'm not even kidding. That's not even sarcastic. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's one of those programs where I didn't like in the beginning, but now it's wow, that's actually yeah. And that program is from the Italian ice dance team, Guignard and Fabri. They are one of my favorites, and this is their 2023-2024 free dance, specifically performed at the 2024 World Figure Skating Championships. This program is set to a bunch of film music. It's literally a medley of film music. Yeah, it's literally a medley of film music. And I will name all those music pieces here or those movies. Emily, The Crimson Wing, Mystery of the Flamingos, The Theory of Everything, and The Dressmaker are the four movies that they take music from. So it is not one of those programs that clearly follows a specific film or anything. If anything, I do feel like this is one of those more contemporary interpreting the music kind of dances. And I really do enjoy this free dance because I think it's one of those dances that really shows off their artistic qualities in a lot of tiny details. Starting off with the choreographic jump sequence, it just honestly feels like an extended introduction to free dance. It doesn't even feel like they're doing a choreographic assisted jumps. It's kind of crazy how they kind of implement it in there. This piano vibe starts playing, and then that's when they incorporate the steps, their twizzles, and their steps are right on the twizzle, and then they end their last set of twizzle when the piano kind of boom, they press down all their fingers on the piano. And that's such a beautiful moment to me. Their first straight line lift is so beautiful to watch in the beginning of it because how he gets Marco Fabri gets her Charlene Guillard up into it is that she kind of is standing and he kind of flips her from the legs under and then flips her to the other side of his body as he's in a spread eagle, and it's such an interesting lift to look at. And then that straight line lift goes into a rotational lift, which is also pretty cool, and he lets her down so gently, so beautiful there. Some of the other moments in this program that I really did enjoy, the circular step sequence is really beautiful. A lot of nice like finger extensions to the crowd, towards each other. They did this moment where they both kind of put their legs up as well in a leg extension that I thought was a really delicate moment between of them. Like good chemistry, obviously. They literally are like dating and are they married? I think they're just dating. But I like obviously great chemistry between them. The character step sequence was so good. I feel like it really portrayed like agony between the two characters, pain, love being taken away, love being given. It was so like the agony in that was just like that's the best word I could use to describe it. It was beautiful agony to watch. And then ending off the program, the 1 foot step sequence is really beautiful. And then yeah, a very nice light spin to end off the program. And I think that it really does portray not a very specific story, but a story that is done so well that you can't even tell it's a story almost. Like it's so light, it's so elegant, and yeah, definitely one of those programs that you have to rewatch. I feel like maybe multiple times to really feel it. But once I did that, it became one of my favorites from them for sure. So go check it out after this program. After this episode, I mean, the program of the week is Guignard and Fabry and their 2024 World's Free Dance. Go check it out after you listen to the main episode. That was your program of the week. Okay, guys, so we are back with another video essay episode. These have been really doing really well in terms of like views and everything. So I'm really excited to see that because I love being able to produce these ones because these are the ones that really get my brain thinking about figure skating and the culture around figure skating. And I think these are the ones that are really important to make. Obviously, I love making competition episodes, doing previews and reviews of different competitions that are happening. But obviously, as we approach the summer, there is like no epic events anymore. Like, there's no Worlds in the middle of June because it's flaming hot, at least in most countries, at least in the northern hemisphere, right? And most countries did winter sports and summer, you know what I mean. But anyway, we're back with another video essay because these don't depend on the season, obviously, and so these kind of exist outside of the main season. So expect a lot more of these, of course, this summer as I have more time to do the video essays and think about stuff, as well as no interesting events happening in the summertime, so that's why I can do more video essays. That makes sense. I hope that Grand Prix assignments come out soon, but that's probably like late June, so I don't even know. Yeah, so I have a lot of these video essay episodes, and this is a topic I have lightly touched upon in the past, but I do feel like it is such a big topic that it deserves its own episode. And of course, from the title you saw that I want to explore the connection between AI or artificial intelligence and the sport of figure skating today. Um, you know, AI is definitely, a hot button topic currently. You hear it everywhere, you see it everywhere. It's on your Facebook, it's on your Instagram, it's on your Google even. When you search things up in Google, you get an automatic AI overview. And so, I feel like a lot of people hadn't even heard of AI maybe 3 years ago. And right now, it's definitely one of the hottest things in technology, one of the biggest things in technology. And of course, I feel like with new advancements in technology, we kind of have to discuss how those new advancements in technology interact with society. One of those parts of society is sports, and one sport is figure skating. See how I made that connection? Like I connected the dots, like right there, just for you. So you had to connect them. So anyway, AI and figure skating is the topic of today. I have lightly, as I said, discussed this in previous episodes. There was one episode, I think last July maybe ish, that I kind of slightly discussed this topic, but this is definitely a big enough topic, even I feel like 10 months ish later, that it deserves its own episode, if that makes sense. So yeah. I will say that I'm no like tech bro. I'm no expert on artificial intelligence. I'm not on like ChatGPT enough to figure out how it really works. You know what I mean? Like I'm a good student. Like I don't cheat. I write all my essays. Great. So yeah, I really want to apologize if I make a mistake while talking about AI today and talking about how it like at least functions and learns and works and things like that and how humans interact with it. I'm definitely not the most educated person on the topic, but I hopefully have enough background knowledge to kind of explain the thoughts I have with what I got. Yeah, so yeah, all the kids at school using ChatGPT to write their entire essay in 2 minutes for them probably have more knowledge than I do of this topic, but it's fine. But it's fine, yeah. And to be clear, I want to talk about AI in general. It's not just ChatGPT, it's not just like Google's AI uh overview. Can I actually speak English right now? So yeah, I'm talking about AI in general, like it's a very loose, broad, artificial intelligence in general topic, and honestly, kind of the role of technology in general in figure skating, and how we can kind of put that into context for figure skating, if that makes sense. So I hope that all makes sense. We're talking about AI and figure skating, but very loose and very general. And no, I'm not talking about those weird AI created skaters. I don't know if you guys have probably seen this on like Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, but they have like if it's like the AI created like videos basically, I guess. And they look so fake, and the skaters have like the most like deformed bodies ever. Their head is like so deformed, it's like above their head, and then when they jump, they go into like a raspberry twist. Like I don't even know, like they're doing like quad axles off of no speed. Like I don't even know. So yeah, I'm not talking about those weird AI created skaters that look like they came from, I don't know, Willy Wonka's chocolate factory or something. Yeah, and the jumps, they like fly all over the like they have wings at this point. Like I don't even know. But yeah, I'm not talking about the weird AI created generated skaters in quotation marks. I made in air quotes. I'm not talking about those because what the heck are those? You know what I mean? I'm talking more seriously about how AI could be used to kind of look at this sport and change the sport for sure. And I think the main topic I really want to touch on today is the potential of AI with judging figure skating. Obviously, figure skating is a judged sport. It isn't a sport like running or like basketball where it's very clear who the winner is based on how many points they get or how fast they run, what time they get. It is a sport based on very subjective criteria, whether we like to think about that or not, whether the ISU likes to think about it or not, the International Skating Union likes to think about it or not. Figure skating in itself has to be a subjective sport. You can't like measure figure skating somehow, and so you kind of have to make it a little bit subjective. Obviously, we do have the technical side, the artistic side, and a bunch of codes and knowledge about how to score skaters. But in the end, no skater is exactly perfect. No judge is exactly perfect. No judge is complete without bias. And so judges do tend to be kind of biased. And so a lot of people I feel like have kind of discussed the potential of more technology or tracking software or even AI, for example, and how that might eliminate a lot of bias in figure skating. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe that AI kind of learns off of itself. It learns off of previous models of AI, and it does a lot of that through human input. So it has to get the knowledge from somewhere, and it gets that knowledge from humans. Like if you use ChatGPT and it provides you, you ask it a question and it provides you a summary, what it does is that it kind of pulls information from different sources on the internet that come from, of course, human resources. And so human resources like blogs and videos and everything like that. That's kind of what it does. It's really good at compiling information and making it seem like, or kind of creating that whole big summary of that information so it can answer your question. And so I think the main issue here with using AI for figure skating is that AI must build off of previous models of judging somehow. It has to somehow have previous models or examples of how to judge a skater before it can learn by itself. And so originally, if some type of AI model were to be used for judging figure skating, it would kind of have to learn how to judge from real people first. So that real human intelligence before it can be implemented into artificial intelligence. And then after that, it will be able to learn from itself. But I feel like there is kind of rooms for mistakes for sure. We already know that human judging can be very biased, can be very faulty for sure. And so I have no idea how AI would learn from that, how AI would learn from faulty, judgy, biased kind of scoring of skaters. Would it learn to recognize certain skaters as this? How would it, would it be able to, track bias? Would it be able to have its own bias? Can AI even be biased? I think there's just a lot of room for mistakes for sure which is why it is kind of most like we should suspect it a lot for happening like that. Is because yeah, it does have to learn from something, and that something is usually other people or itself. After it learns from other people, it must teach itself. And I do think that is the biggest kind of red flag for me when it comes from AI and skiing. Is that that's the issue with it, is that it will learn from past models of itself. I feel like I'm repeating myself like 5 million times. That's probably true. But I want to, I don't think the idea should be completely ruled out yet. Um, and so I really want to take a deeper look at judging, of course, looking at the scoring side of things and how there's two sides of the sport, the technical side and the artistic side. So starting with the technical side, let's discuss how judging can be used on the technical the technical side. I do feel like judging on the technical side is a little bit more realistic, or honestly a lot more realistic than using AI to judge the artistic side. um, AI is something that is kind of smart at looking at exact things, maybe. Is that a good way to explain it? In my experience, anyway, exact things. And so, if AI were able to kind of have access to, cameras, the camera angles, I feel like maybe it would be able to identify, under rotations or edge calls or not step outs, under rotations or edge calls or quarter calls, maybe more closely than real humans can. Obviously, having access to different camera angles is huge. Judges right now don't even have access to that. They only have access to the one um, camera angle that they do get, and otherwise they don't get access to any other camera angle. At least on the technical panel side, they don't get access to any other angle to be able to tell what their under rotation or edge call mistake was. And so having access to different camera angles would be huge. I feel like an AI model, even if it had access to different camera angles of a jump, that would be a very, very big thing. Obviously, since the jumps are the most important part of the score for sure. If an AI model was able to capture or obtain, maybe from human, led cameras or something, the different camera angles of a skater and kind of analyze that and see when they under rotate, and then maybe automatically kind of score that or put that in as a, what should we call it? Put that in automatically as a call, as an under rotation call or as a quarter call, and then maybe even AI judges, not just the AI technical panel, the AI judges being able to automatically assign GOE based on that under-rotation or based on that quarter. Because honestly, sometimes you get under-rotated jumps that still get positive 2 GOE. Some of them get like -4 GOE. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a little weird for sure. But judges don't even have access to different camera angles now, so maybe that is something to consider, giving it to the human, real judges or the technical panel before we give it to the AI people. And then, just touching on jumps, spins as well. I feel like obviously jumps move a lot quicker than spins do usually. Spins could be, something to note as well about, especially counting rotations. That is something skiers may often be called on, is how many rotations they do in that spin. They might get a, what is it, a V call, I think it's like it's the letter V, and that shows that they haven't done enough rotations in a certain position. And so that might, be something to consider, is that maybe just using it on the spins is a thing. And then obviously the two other parts of the what is it? The technical thing, at least in the singles field, is the step sequence, which could be a hard one because you have to count and you have to kind of objectively and subjectively kind of measure it, if that makes sense. And then also the choreo sequence is a bit more artistic side. So I feel like that is something that could be more difficult. Maybe AI can be really good at just the jumps and maybe leave the rest of the judges. No idea for sure, at least in the singles field, which is what I'm trying to focus on right now. But obviously, I feel like in ice dance and pairs, it would be a whole different thing. Obviously, with a different scoring system and more elements, but maybe AI can be extended to that too. I have no idea. I feel like my voice sounds so bad right now, and I don't know why. Ugh, burping. Okay, judging, and then that was the technical side. I want to talk about the artistic side. I think judging the artistic side is really where we have to start questioning things because, of course, artistry is so subjective. We agree as a community and we disagree as a community within each other, but we also agree with the judges and we disagree with the judges all the time. There's no escape from, disagreeing with the judges. And even the judges disagree with themselves. Some judges will give a skater, I don't know, a 9 in components, another judge will give them an 8. Like, it's really, sometimes really subjective how these components get. Yet they obviously have such a major impact on the score. And everyone has a different interpretation of artistry, obviously. There are, key points that to each component that the judges obviously have to learn about and train for. But it's almost like sometimes that criteria is not really used, honestly. And it's kind of just like, you are kind of good, you get a 9. You're kind of good or kind of bad, you get a 6.5, right? Like, are these components really, really being used to their, exact key points, how the ISU intended? I don't think so exactly. And I think that's the issue with both human judging and AI judging is AI going to be able to judge artistry and components? Like, what does it consider to be good presentation? What does it consider to be good skating skills? Are we being clear enough in the criteria that we feed AI what that should look like? Or is it really hazy and really broad? Because to me, when I read the ISU, whatever, like whenever I have to see it on Reddit or something, it is sometimes pretty unclear exactly what the ISU is looking for, exactly what the judges want to be able to give skaters higher components or higher scores or higher this. Obviously, I think in general there is like clear distinctions. Like, when a skater should have high components and when they should have pretty low components. What I'm more talking about is like, what's the difference between a 8.75 and a 8.5 or a 9.0? That's something to consider, is that we don't know exactly when that should be kind of determined, and is AI going to be smart enough to be able to kind of split the hairs there and give that another skater a little bit more points than another skater? Who knows? AI, like, what does it exactly consider artistic? Like, have you seen AI art? Like, sometimes it looks really good, sometimes it looks like it came out of a kindergartner's, like crayon box. You know what I mean? Like, we really have to be careful with assigning artistry to the AI side, because it's just like, how are they artistic? Like, it's like every artistry is a different type of artistry, and I honestly would get, if I was a judge, I would get overwhelmed. I don't know how AI would kind of deal with it. And of course, like I said, AI building off of itself over and over again. So maybe AI would only consider one type of skater, if that makes sense, artistic, and another skater not. So that's what I think is the main worry about with judging the artistic side. Um, for sure, is that it is already so subjective that, is there really a big reason to try to do that? Or are we kind of just have to leave that kind of faulty as is? Yeah. And so of course we could always try the, judging the technical side using AI, and then using the artistic sides for artistry. Or maybe we use the AI in very, very specific situations. There's still human judges, but we use AI to count the number of steps and turns in a step sequence. We use AI to, look at the under rotation calls. It is such a developing technology that we don't know exactly how it's going to get developed in the future, and how it's going to be applied to figure skating, if it is going to be applied to figure skating in the near future, which I do feel like is kind of a little bit touchy, far, far off. You know what I mean? Okay. I think another question is that, should we be replacing human judging in the first place? Now, I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of the judges don't actually get money or anything for judging. They do get like accommodations, as far as I know. They get a hotel and they get food and they get flight and everything to come, watch the competition and judge it. So, as far as I know, they're not making any actual money off of that, besides the accommodations that they are given by the ISU. And so I think a lot of people would argue like, oh, maybe AI would p- g- get people out of a job And I don't know if that necessarily would make a huge impact. Forgive me if I am definitely wrong. I could definitely be wrong on this, but because the judges aren't really making money anyway, I don't really know if that would really kick them out of a job or not. Because as far as I know, it's being a judge in an ISU figure skating competition is basically a kind of volunteer competition. So, or not a volunteer like service kind of vibe. At least for the IS, at least that's how I perceive it. You just kind of get accommodations with it. If anything, perhaps it would be creating more jobs, being training professionals that could work with the AI, or training cameramen that could work with the AI and helping calibrate it or fix it or anything like that. I don't know exactly again how everything would kind of figure itself out, but at least in the money regard, I don't think AI would like impact the job economy of figure skating, I guess, in terms of the judging at least, because I to me it is a volunteer thing if I remember correctly. But again, forgive me if I'm wrong. I think a common expression for sure is that like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I would love to be able to say that to the figure skating judging system that it isn't broke, so I'm not gonna fix it. But honestly, I don't think that really does apply in this case because it kind of is broke, and so I feel like we kind of have to fix it, the judging system. So it doesn't really apply that expression in this case to me. The judging system is kind of broken. Um, Sometimes there are very clear biases within the judging, and I think the question is, could AI really fix this? I have no idea, but the clear biases, country bias, nationality bias, is a little bit clear sometimes depending on the competition to competition and the judge to judge basis. Of course, the main reason why we even have this judging system is because of all this bias and vote swapping with the very old 6.0 system that they did back in the day. Of course, that huge scandal at the 2002 Olympics led to the current system that is a little bit less biased. I feel like kind of breaks room for bias, but there definitely has been still clear biases with this kind of system that we kind of are running with the current human-led system. And so I think the main question is, should AI, really fix this? Is the judging really broken? I would say yes, the judging kind of is broken with all its biases and faults and kind of unclarities or imperfections within the standards, if that makes sense. Because, like I said earlier, some judges will give positive GOE for an element, some judges will give very negative GOE for an element. It is kind of like we should be more clear across the board for sure what a good element looks like and what a bad element looks like. It's almost like no, it's almost like it's a huge no, let's not be on the same page. Let's not agree with each other. But like a judge should not be giving like two different judges not be giving like a 2 positive 2 and negative 4, you know what I mean? And sometimes I do see that like a element that is a little sketchy, some judges giving good Jewy, some judges giving bad Jewy, when they're not really on the same page at all. And of course that is a very objective, or no, subjective, based on the criteria given by the SU, that it's a little ambiguous. It's a little ambiguous for sure, how that all fits in. But yeah, lots of ambiguities in how this all kind of works out. But yeah, so, that's specifically for judging. I want to talk quickly just about the other ways AI could be used. Maybe, judging should be left to the human population, the ones that made AI in the first place, and maybe, AI can be doing something else. I do see a lot of potential not in competition for AI, but maybe outside of competition, such as in training, maybe judging and training, maybe judging and training, of course, giving skaters a test score or predicted score that they can kind of work off of is maybe a thing. Very expensive technology for sure. For sure. Yeah. Maybe as well helping skaters find music or something, or kind of like light jobs that make sense that won't impact like real results or anything. Like, hey AI, like what's good music that I could use that kind of fits this vibe that I have? Like that's something I would probably do as like an adult skater maybe, and maybe competitive skaters would do that. Like helping people find their own music, or hey, like what would you like, give me inspiration for an outfit for a figure skating costume that I could use for this type of music. You know what I mean? Like something fun and like light like that that doesn't really impact the overall competition in the end. But that's for obviously the competitive skaters. I feel like fans in general, figure skating is a complicated sport. I think we all know that. Figure skating is a difficult sport to learn about, to understand, to even like fathom in the first place. It's so difficult to figure out what figure skating like should be like. Does that make sense? And so maybe helping fans find more resources to explore the skating world and understand the sport better is something like learning, if you're more of a visual or no, like a text learner, like a reading learner, maybe, like maybe that can help a lot with understanding figure skating, understanding very quickly the brief points that how skaters earn positive GOE, how skaters earn negative GOE, etc. That AI could quickly kind of summarize for the viewer. Obviously, I think figure skating is a hard sport to watch if you're a beginner at watching it because it can be so dang unclear sometimes about how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that, how do skaters do that, like what does that mean, what does that number mean there. And so maybe AI can help make the sport a little bit more accessible to kind of the common viewer about how this all works. And so I really do like that idea of like allowing AI to kind of be able to do that. Yeah, but I really do like the idea of, AI kind of making the sport more accessible for the common viewer, helping them, giving them advice on how to watch skiing better, helping them understand the scoring system or who the top skiers are at the time. Those quick summaries I feel like can really do help. But other than that, I do not know not much about what AI can do outside of judging and helping people find music and costumes and understanding the sport. Obviously, I think the thing with AI, artificial intelligence, is that it works so fast and therefore it has so many different possibilities that you can just send a message in, send a prompt in, and it will automatically do for you. So I really do think the kind of limitations are non-existent. Like the boundaries are endless. The sky is the limit for AI and how it can be really used for that type of knowledge about figure skating. Sorry. But I really do feel like that is kind of like there is no limit perhaps about exactly how it can be all used together and blended together. I really do feel like it is going to be one of those things that is kind of limitless in its applications and limitless in its really yeah, of course, we see that already in education and all these and work and all these like amazing things that in figure skating as well. I feel like it could be very limitless in its application. So I don't really know much more specific examples, but if you guys can come up with anything how AI could be, how else it can be used in figure skating, I definitely recommend you guys comment it or leave a mention or anything like that. Okay. I do think the main question is should it? Like should we? You know what I mean? Definitely something that could be part of the future for sure. I don't want to rule it out. I do see it creating a huge uproar in the sport for sure, whichever way you put it. I feel like a lot of people will be very much anti AI for sure, and some people might be pro AI as well. And so, we've seen this a lot. We've seen this a lot with big decisions happening in figure skating, like the recent age limit change, for example, to be a senior. That was something that caused a huge uproar in the sport. Some people definitely agree that we should raise the age to become a senior. Some people totally disagree with this. Some people just hated the idea, like, no, no, this is not good for the sport, this is not good for development, things like that. That was an example of a huge uproar in the sport. um we've had like big scandals in the sport and big moments in the sport, but I do think that judging, of course, and all these things, judging is a huge part of the core of the sport. It's a subjective sport for a reason. It's a judge sport. And so changing the entire judging system to fit in AI is a huge major change that I could see creating a huge uproar in the skating community for sure, whichever way you kind of want to put it. If we go with AI, all the anti-AI people will be mad, they'll quit watching the sport, etc. If we go anti-AI, people will say, oh no, you're ruining the future of the sport needs to progress with society, kind of things like that. So I see this putting a big uproar in the sport. Fans are always divided over different things anyway, so it's like, does it really matter? And obviously this is not a light change at all. It's a huge major change to judging. And if we even judge like a few competitions and we see the results and we don't like it as a skating community, there's going to be a huge backlash against the ISU and AI in general, because that's the skating community is often very feisty with these decisions that it wants to make and it likes to make. It does not when it does not like something, I feel like the skating community very obviously kind of shows it for sure. And I will say the whole, should we kind of thing, a lot of it is money. We know figure skating is not a rich sport. Figure skating does not have a lot of viewers, so naturally the ISU doesn't generate as much money as other big, you know, sport federations around the international sport federations around the world that are a lot more major and get a lot more views, and even national organizations, of course, like the NFL or the NBA or the MLB, the Major League Baseball. Those, probably generate a lot more money than the ISU do from figure skating. And so money has to do with the big thing. Like AI just is not cheap. Implementing this AI technology is definitely not going to be cheap. It's definitely going to cost a lot. Of course, if it's being specifically developed for figure skating, it's gonna be expensive. And money is a huge thing in this sport. As we know, like even skiers don't win a ton of prize money from the ISU for winning a big competition. Even like Worlds is not a huge competition to win. So yeah, that's definitely a big concern. Obviously, money should also be put towards not just AI and development. We can't just suddenly pool all our money towards developing AI technology that might not even work. We obviously also need money for advertising and for funding development and for funding federations and things like that. So it's not just like immediately let's drop all the money and let's drop all the cash and let's go towards AI, because that could very much definitely be kind of a death bomb for the sport of figure skating if we're gonna just put it towards AI and that's it. Again, the AI technology might not even work. It might not even be kind of appreciated and used correctly unless it's done very expertly. And of course, that expertise and development needs a lot of um, what am I saying? Needs a lot of money behind it, and time as well as a big thing. It is not going to be developed overnight. We might not even expect this technology. Maybe I'm like predicting the future right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Like we might not even expect this technology in like 50 years from now. Like if AI is a thing in figure skating in my lifetime, you know what? You know what I mean? For sure. For sure. It will be a, big thing for sure. Um, I did want to mention one of the specific incidents about kind of the should we thing, and that is the recent ice dance music announcements. And so the music theme for the ice dance, I believe, next year for the rhythm dance is 90s or something, like the life and the style of the 90s or something like that. And one of the things people pointed out was that, yeah, you can use music from the 90s, obviously, because it's 90s themed, but the ICU also included in one of their kind of bullet points or kind of addendums that it could also be AI created music or AI generated music. I forget the exact wording of it, but it was like AI created or any AI generated music that also reflects the style and the times and the lifestyles of the 90s, which did cause a bit of controversy within the community for sure, because the rhythm dance obviously is a key part of ice dance. It's the only part of figure skating that has a required music theme, if you will, that changes every season, obviously. And so a lot of people thought, oh, like having AI create the music for Skaters to Skate to is definitely a bit of a move for sure from the ISU. Obviously, maybe this is kind of a signal that the ISU is, more open and turning to AI as something helpful and beneficial for its sport. But, kind of having that bullet point there, I won't say it actively encourages skiers to use AI, but it definitely suggested to skiers that, hey, like you don't have to use real 90s music. You can just use AI created music that is kind of like 90s music. So, there is kind of, both ways to it for sure. And like, I don't want to judge one way or another for sure. But that was definitely, I think, probably the first mention of AI from figure skating at all, or the ISU at all that, was definitely a bit controversial. Because AI is naturally a very controversial topic, a lot of people say we should be, prioritizing real artists and real creators, not just AI generated content that, keep on, I don't know, like just does everything itself, and we don't have any human input in it, and there's no creativity and thinking involved and critical thinking involved. It's just mindless AI use. And so that was a good example for me that kind of like just popped up in my head. That was a recent example of AI and figure skating, is that how the ISU kind of is allowing people to do AI in their rhythm dance next year, which will be interesting. We'll see who actually does intend to use that. I can't imagine a lot of people intend to use AI in their figure skating, their rhythm dance, but I might be proven wrong. I feel like more people prefer, as they're used to it, to finding their own music. But you never know. Maybe next season, the Olympic season, we'll just hear a bunch of AI generated poopy songs at the Olympics. It could be. It could be. But in all honesty, I don't think it's gonna have a huge impact on the sport, which is why I don't think it was probably the biggest controversy ever. Because skiers will probably still continue using music that's actually really from the '90s, like really created in the '90s and everything, and not just AI generated from ChatGPT, or I don't know. How do you even create music with AI? Does AI have a voice? Can AI sing? That's scary. I guess AI can like mimic voices, which is really scary. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't probably think about that. Okay. The last kind of point I want to make is that time will definitely tell for all of this. The ISU is really up to everything, and the future is, incredibly uncertain. Maybe we will adopt AI judging one of these days in the next 50 years or so. Maybe then we won't like it, and then we'll drop it again and come back to human judging. Or maybe we'll, keep it forever. We'll adopt AI judging, figure out that it actually works great. It works up to all our standards, and maybe we'll keep it forever. Maybe we'll adopt AI judging, and the community doesn't like it, but the AI keeps on going, or the ISU keeps on going with it. Maybe we adopt AI judging and the community loves it, but the ISU decides, no, we like humans better. Like any of these things could happen, and a lot of it doesn't even have to do with the technology itself, and more has to do with the money, the time, the effort, and of course the people behind all this. I think in general, I think this all shows that there is a huge backlash between, or kind of a huge debate or constant conflict between the ISU and the figure skating community, that this is just one of those issues that kind of pops up with it, is AI and how it can be used. Um, you know, we've had so many issues between the ISU and the community that, this is just a minor one. To me, even bringing up the AI and the rhythm dance thing is a little bit obscure to me, but it was just something light that just already, again, caused another spark. And then so I have no idea exactly when or why or how AI is ever going to be implemented in figure skating. All I know for sure is that I think the ISU and the community will kind of continue to grapple over this topic and similar topics and any other topic within the whole sphere of figure skating that's really, really crazy. But I think for certain, I hope that in the future, the relationship between the figure skating community and the ISU gets a lot more improved. And yeah, I hope that does kind of get fixed. And maybe we can kind of, reach a resolution, a peace agreement within each other, and then move forward together about how our AI policy should work. But yeah, AI is definitely a very uncertain topic for now. In fact, I should have been making this episode like 50 years in the future maybe, because it is so uncertain. We have no idea what is going to happen with AI. Obviously, I feel like every month, every week, even every day, there is something new, crazy article about AI, how AI can improve. I've seen all the AI edits of the skaters and Joe Biden and Donald Trump and a million other Elon Musk AI, and I don't even know, AI talking to you, AI doing your homework for you. Like there's just so many applications of AI that it's unpredictable. I feel like that is really the word, unpredictable. And of course, I feel like has only been a thing in like 5-ish years now, maybe, that it's been like kind of a notable idea. And so we don't know how far we'll be in AI in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, 20 years, and so on. It could be 50 years from now that we get AI and figure skating together finally, but we have no idea. I just hope that in the end it is a peaceful, calm resolution and that we find a good use for I don't think maybe we'll be able to completely avoid AI forever. I do think it's gonna reach kind of a natural resolution one of these days, and AI is gonna be somehow incorporated into the world of figure skating, as the world and society progresses, and we get humans that look are actually robots, and robots that are actually humans, and I don't even know the humans, and the aliens are gonna come invade us. You know what I mean? Anyway, that is all for this episode of a Teen Task Game podcast. My name is Zango. I hope you enjoyed my kind of big, long rant about AI and figure skating and how AI can be used in figure skating and how all the applications of figure skating and AI are kind of central to the relationship between the ISU and the community at this point, and all the recent controversy with the ice dance and rhythm dance kind of things with the AI, and a million other topics with AI. I probably said the word AI like 5 million times, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed making it. Let me know what you think about AI and figure skating for sure, and how that will all kind of meld together. Next week's episode will be very uncertain. It will be it will be at the end of my finals, so I probably won't even like have time to make notes or anything. I have no idea, but I'm gonna try my best to figure everything out, and I hope that everything gets figured out, and that I'm a big total fat genius over here making these episodes like the bomb. I don't know what I mean. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be cool, but I'm not cool at all because I'm just a loser. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Teen Talk Podcast. I will see you next week for a big rant as well. And bye bye.